It's that time of the week, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to podcast number 13 of What Is He On About? In store for you today, we've got a little mid-series review. The third T20 has just happened between England and India. What a T20 game that was. We're going to have a little review of that and the series coming up. Also, we've got a build up to the Australia versus Sri Lanka Test match series and why I think it could be an absolute belter. Full preview for that one coming up. Three-tier Test cricket, why I think that is the go-to promotion and relegation. That's going to be a beautiful little point in the episode. I love that idea. And finally, we're going to have a little look at why no Aussies other than Pat Cummins, hardly any Aussies, made it into the Test team of the year. So that's all to come. So make yourself comfy as you ask yourself, what is he on about? England win the third T20 by 26 runs as England post 171 for 9 and it's returned by India's 145 for 9. A lot of wickets falling all over the place. Let's start with the England innings. Now I thought they were below par. I'll be honest. They got to at 170. I think it was because they had such a good start with Ben Duckett scoring 51 off not many deliveries. And it was how England then lost so many wickets in such a short space of time. Middle orders just fell like a tree that's just been cut down. I mean, number four, six, seven, eight, and nine fell for a combined 17 runs of 21 deliveries. It's not looking good. It's just calling out for someone who can bat through all 20 overs. Now, I'm not going to talk about him just yet. Have a think about who you think that is and we'll come on to it in a little bit. But I think we've gotta heap the praise on Livingston and Duckett. For me, especially Livingston. We'll start with Ben Duckett. I mean, he seemed to just get the pace of the wicket more than anyone else. You know, he was taking on the spinners, taking on the fast bowlers, and it just felt like Duckett was playing on a slightly different wicket today. But he didn't quite take full grip of the game, did he? And why I think Livingston's innings was so important, he got 43 off 20 odd, I think. Why his knock was so important was because it was the moment in the game. And it was the way he just came out all guns blazing. I think he hit five sixes or something pretty juicy like that. And we were dithering away into scoring a 140, 150 score, which India would have chased easily. And Livingston just really took it back to the Indians, you know? Livingston was that man who really stopped the Indians in their tracks. But then it was the tail. It was the 10th wicket partnership of I think about 25, maybe 24, 26 between Rashid and Mark Wood. We're obviously going to come on to Adil Rashid in a little bit, but that little bit of tail wagging towards the end, that 10th wicket partnership was crucial. If they got out straight away, you're looking at about 140 odd, as I said earlier. But no, they got that partnership and they made their way up to 170 odd, which just felt like we had a fighting chance. You know, it felt like we were going to have to bowl well, but 170 on the deck, which apparently everyone was saying was an absolute road. You know, felt under par, but it felt like we had a fighting chance. Little honourable mention to Varun Chakravarti, who took 5 for 24 off his 4 overs. I mean, England can't play him. I mean, England can't play spinners hands up, but hands down, I think is probably the right terminology. Anyway, 5 for 24. That just shows how unbelievable this lad's bowling. He's tearing through the Englishman. He must be thinking this is unreal. You know, he's got his Indian T20 break again. He played a few games in 2021, but, you know, just he's probably loving playing against this England side. And yeah, we're really giving him a fair few wickets. So that's the England innings. Then we moved on to the Indian innings. Now they never really got going, did they? And just when they needed to speed up, just when they needed a little bit of control on the game, on comes Adil Rashid. Now, this guy is an absolute English legend. Get him in the IPL. Where's he been in the Indian Premier League the last few years? Everyone keeps saying. But take a look at this. 4 overs, 1 wicket for 15 runs, sorry. Going at 3.75 an over. That is just redonkulous. I mean, yes, he only got 1 wicket, and by the way, that wicket was an absolute peach to get rid of Tilak Varner. And it's just he can just control the game, he can turn the game, and he's so underrated, it's ridiculous. And Adil Rashid is just England's number one leggy, and it's just great to watch, isn't it? This guy is top of the class. He's got similar stats to Rashid Khan, and no one talks about Adil Rashid. It's ridiculous. Now, I want to take a little mention of Surya Kumar Yadav, Sky. I mean, he really hasn't performed so far this series, and he's one of those players where, yeah, the series is maybe in the balance, but if this guy gets going, it's lights out for England, and we're so lucky that he hasn't quite got going yet in this series. We also saw glimpses of Hardik Pandya as he got 40 off 35 deliveries, but I want to actually talk about Jamie Overton. Now, last episode, I talked about Jamie Overton as a sort of nothingy player. He's dropping into that number 7 role. And is he there as a more of a bowling all-rounder, or is he there to hit big bombs in the second in the batting innings? But he definitely hasn't been doing it with the bat. I mean, he got 0 of 1 today. A golden duck, a beautiful little knock from him. And I think he got 2 and 5 in the other 2 games. So batting's clearly not his specialty. But I couldn't quite work it out because they weren't really bowling him either. But today, he proved me wrong. 4 overs, 3 for 24, taking some big wickets, including Pandya. And I think he also got out, yeah, he got out Shami at the end and Washington Sundar, so 3 quite crucial later innings in it, wickets. But Jamie Overton, do I think he's done enough to keep his place? I would almost rather have an extra batter, but he's in response to that, he's shown his importance as a bowler. So yeah, maybe he's just clinging on to that space in the team, but I'd love to see maybe Bethel play down there as well, just get 7 quality batsmen. I want to just quickly give a quick shout out to Faraz. Hope I pronounced your name right. You're a top legend who's been in the DMs recently saying that maybe Baz should change up his mindset. Now, I think this is a tremendously good shout. I mean, England are suffering of late in the T20s. We've had those 2 losses, but I think sometimes you just got to hold your horses. Yes, it worked today for the third T20, but something needs to go on in that changing room, which just tells someone, maybe it's a Bethel, maybe it's a Brook, just to put the brakes on. It's more important, all right, to have those top order batters in the last 6 overs, 5 overs, than it is to go all guns blazing in the middle. All right, all those collapses come about because of this Baz mentality. But nonetheless, in Baz we trust, and it's been a great series so far, so hopefully we can see more of it. What I want to talk about is Joe Root. Now, everyone's calling for him. Everyone's saying, Joe, please come back. Please, Joe. But I don't think it's the right call. Let's have a look through it. Pros and cons. Now, there's lots of pros, I'll admit. He's an incredible player of spin. And what do England need right now? A bit of spin coaching, a bit of how to bat against spin. And Root just comes in. It'll make it look so easy, won't he? He'll tick along to a lovely sort of 50 off maybe 40, 35 balls. Nothing outrageous. Just tick along beautifully as Joe Root would do. He's also got that spin bowling option. You can he's that spin bowling all rounder. So I know we've got a lot of those in the team, but none can bat just like Joe Root. None can bat like Joe Root, that's for sure. He's got a wealth of experience. That comes without saying anything else, really. He's been doing it for ages. He's batted out in India, in T20, all formats. He knows what to do out there. And he's been batting incredibly well in the SA20. I think he almost scored 100 in that game, carried his bat. But Joe Root is just the man. However, couple of cons here. Does he fit the Bazball mold of entertain, don't hold back, only hit sixes? No. is the short answer. He doesn't quite fit the Baz mold, which is why I don't think they'll bring him in. I don't think Baz is calling for an anchor role, and I just don't think it really happens in T20 cricket nowadays. But could it impact his test game? Put a little TikTok out, go and check that out if you haven't already, saying that his average has gone up by 7 or 8 runs since he left the T20 setup. So is that something to be careful of? Because I'd much rather have him good for the test game, that's for sure. And to be honest, I just want to leave him alone. I kind of just want to let him be. He's been so good in the test team. No one touch him. No one do anything to him. Just let him do what he wants to do, and just leave him alone, guys. He is so good a test player, and you can't help but get that nagging feeling that he's coming towards the end of his career, and I just don't want to interrupt anything. Stay in the test game, Joe. And to be honest, I'll be happy if I don't see you anywhere else. Just play test cricket, please. And also, there's only two T20s to go, so no chance he's coming into this series. And it's just a 5 match series against India. Nothing on the line, really, just a few friendies. But maybe he'll come in for the World Cup next year. I think that's in India and Sri Lanka, so that could be a great shout. But I don't really want him there. He'd be a great option. Anyway, so we're going to move on to the Australia Sri Lanka Test Series. Now it starts tomorrow morning for me. That's Wednesday morning, early doors over here in England. And I'm strangely looking forward to it, to be honest. And the reason is because I've got a weird feeling that Australia are gonna get rolled. Now, all the Australians in the comments saying, Australia are the best, Australia are the best. I don't really think they are anymore, to be honest. I think they're overrated. I think, to be honest, they're getting on a little bit. No players in their 20s, and the bowling side's getting on a bit. And you can't help but think Sri Lanka, in their conditions, they've done well in the World Test Championship, and Australia are going to struggle. Sri Lanka are 5 from 5 at home, and they took two off New Zealand last year. We talked about that last week. But also, Sri Lanka, great at home, but they're at Galle, all right, there's a lot of talk about this wicket at the minute, and it can either be an absolute road or just the most infamous Bunsen burner you'll ever see. Dry Bunsens galore, all right? Turning wickets, and the Aussies will have no idea. I mean, Usman Khawaja's got a great record against spin. Travis Head did well at opening up in the last series in the subcontinent. But I do really, really fancy Sri Lanka. And it might be because I just dislike the Aussies, but it also might be there's something in my cricket brain telling me something could happen. Considering in 2016, Australia got whitewashed by Sri Lanka 3-0, and they haven't actually won a series since 2011. All right, so I think this could be the start, the beginning of the Aussie downfall just before the Ashes. Come on, you Aussies, you know you want to crumble. It's your time. Now let's have a little look at the team's suspected lineup. I think Australia are going to go with Usman Khawaja, Travis Head, Labuschagne, Steve Smith, and I think they're going to go Josh Inglis. I think he's going to make his debut. He's been unbelievable at running on the drinks of late. He's been an absolute top class 12th man, and I think it's just about time for him to get his spot. A lot of Aussies saying how class of a bat he is, and yeah, I think Bo Webster Tate comes in at 6. Alex Carey in at 7. That's pretty straightforward. Then you've got the three of Boland, Lyon, and Stark. And the final question is who plays alongside Lyon? Because you're going to have a second spinner, all right? And it's either Kuhneman or Todd Murphy. Now, Kuhneman provides that left arm approach, different angle. Whereas Todd Murphy, he's the other way, but he has more experience for Australia. So I think they'll go with Todd Murphy because Kuhlman has the right hand issue. I think he might have broken his hand or something, surgery on there. But I think they'll go Murphy and Lyon for the first test. So that team isn't revealed yet because of the craziness that comes with the Galle wicket, but hopefully Galle can produce some wonders and we see Australia crumble into dust. Maybe. Let's hope for the best. Right, 3-tier test system. Now, I think this sounds unreal. All right, 7 teams per tier. Promotion, relegation, and I think the people will be gripped. I'm going to give you an example. Now, Pakistan versus the West Indies this week. just really, really gripped my attention. I'll tell you why. It was a low-scoring thriller in Pakistan. West Indies aren't expected to win, and Pakistan aren't holding back with them giving them horrendous conditions on the wicket. All right. But this time, low scoring thriller, and West Indies end up winning by 120 runs. All right. Can you imagine? All right. If that is a relegation battle to survive, you got 5 days, let's say Pakistan and West Indies, a joint bottom, them going for a little relegation battle test match in Pakistan conditions where you get those feisty finishes, everyone round the bat, it would just be incredible, wouldn't it? Especially if there's, prize money on the line, more of your stay up or something. These lads will be so into it, and I just think it will send Test cricket to the next level. And even promotion battles. I mean, if let's say what's likely is England get relegated, it probably is going to happen. We're not very good at winning test matches, but let's say you get a little promotion battle going on in Div 2, maybe between, I don't know, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Everyone will be gripped. I just think it's a great thing for Test cricket. Yes, it might mean England go down. Yes, it might mean, we get less Ashes every now and again. But I think when it does happen, it will mean more, you know? And I just think it could be Test cricket at its absolute best. Yes, you might think about home conditions, if someone needs a game on the line and they need to win, they'll just create the most turning, raging Bunsen. But the same for both sides. India, let's say they produced a massive Bunsen to go and win the World Test Championship. It's the same for both sides. They're going to struggle as well. And I think it will make for great Test cricket. But that's all to come. And hopefully that might be something that's in the works. Then we're going to finally end with why no Aussies made it into the team of the year. Well, Pat Cummins did, but we'll talk about that. Right, this just proves, ladies and gentlemen, that the Aussie team can just win. It's just annoying. And yes, they've got some good players, but none of them are performing that well, and they just somehow win. I think teams are scared of them, to be honest. Like, how can they have no players in this Test team of the year, and somehow people just can't get a win against them? Can't win against them. I mean, Pat Cummins, fair play. He played great in that Border Gavaskar Trophy. He's been a quality captain all year round. Won Australia heaps of games. I think that's why he's in the team. But you look at the rest of them and you think only Travis Head could actually get in this team. But then 4, 5, and 6, you've got Joe Root, Harry Brook, both averaging 55 this year, and Kamindu Mendes, who is just an absolute unbelievable cricketer. So Travis Head is not getting in there. And you just think, why can't England win games if they've got the opener, the number 4, the number 5, the number 7 in the Test team of the year? Why can't England win games? And it's annoying me that it's like that, but we can't do anything about it. All right. So it's a pleasure to say that there's no Aussies in this lineup. I admit, maybe there could be a couple more, but no, not according to the ICC, which is the only thing that matters. Cheers, Aussies. You're not very good anymore. So that is concluding the episode today. All right, go and check out the TikTok, leave a rating on the Spotify, subscribe to the YouTube, follow the TikTok, follow the podcast, follow the Instagram, like some of my posts. It's nice and easy, pretty straightforward. All right, so I hope it got answered this week. Have a good week, everyone. Hope it got answered of what is he on about. Cheers.